And the federal government has concluded plans to train some newly recruited personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps across 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The personnel under the School Safety Protection Squad is designed to halt cases of abduction of school children from their schools. The commander of the National Safe School Response Coordination Center of the NSCDC, Ahmed Aboduri, disclosed this following the rescue of the abducted pupil of the LEA Primary School and the Government Secondary School in Kaduna State. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has welcomed the news of the release, commending all the parties involved in the feat for their valiant efforts. Arise analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us to discuss the proposal to establish School Safety Corps and examine how effective the initiative could be, as well as other measures needed to promote safe learning environments for students. Good to have you here on Newsday.
It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, good afternoon. So to get things started, the federal government right now, some would say this particular move to set up this corps is a little bit reactive, while others would say it is a welcome development. For you, looking at it closely,
well,
which is it?
It is a welcome development, and it's never too late. And then you see, it is something that needs to be done, even if it was not done before. And particularly now that, by the grace of God and by the efficiency of our army and all security personnel, especially even the president, they have recovered those students who are taken away by kidnappers and bandits.
But discrepancy still surrounded the numbers.
That is not the issue. People have been recovered. That is good news.
Yes.
That one is not the issue now. And I will come to that later.
Okay, thank you very much. Because it's a major issue.
It is not a major issue. What is important is that those people have been recovered. What we are discussing now is the idea of having school safety corps all over the country. It is not a matter for all over the country. That is the issue with our federalism. You get me? We know the states affected. The minister said before that 40 states in the north have this problem. You get me? In the south, education is an investment. People send their children to school. You have Parents Teachers Association. You have people looking after children, people contributing to boarding house and things like that. It is not a problem of the south. It is a problem of the north. And as such, it is a national problem because it affects our image. And then, you see, it slows down the development of the country. And it slows down the overall need for us to close the gap in education between the north and the south. So that is the important thing. The government should focus on those areas affected. It is not that, if a problem is not arising in an area, you don't create a milieu for people to say that, okay, they are prepared for this, let's do that. You get me? We are a federation. Let us look at our geopolitical interests and provide solutions tailor-made to look at those interests. Now, that is one. Now, coming back to your issue, they have, the governor has said they recover 167 people, and people are saying the statistics they gave before was this or that. How important is that? The good news, and thank God Almighty that has happened, is that those students have been taken in.
When people talk about no one left behind, means that one person, everybody must be accounted for. And every soul and every child counts.
And account for them. I'm not interested in that. I'm happy that they have recovered people.
Mr. Sobowale, back to your point, please, you did say, which is very important, that there's need to focus on the 14 states that have been pointed out, as opposed to doing all this generally. And adding to your point, analysts are also saying that in order for this to be effective, that there will need to be careful planning, adequate resources, like you pointed out, proper training and a comprehensive approach that addresses both the immediate security concerns and the root causes of insecurity. Assuming that the government takes what you've said into consideration and focuses on the 14 states, how would you like to see these other points that have been raised tackled in addition to that?
You see, the concentration of the National Civil Defense Squad should be in those areas. We have the civil defense squad on the ground. It was created during the Civil War. Then now you have the sirens and to train people where to take shelter and things like that. And then the war ended, and then they started coming up at ceremonial events and things like that. But now we have a war situation. We have terrorism. Do you get me? So they should focus on the north, especially. That is the issue. That is the issue. That is the problem of our federalism. Let them focus on the north. It is in the north that Boko Haram says there will be no to Western education, and that is why it is cancelling schools, literally. And that's why this has happened. Do you get me? And that is why the army should be commended for what it has done now. It should be commended, I repeat this a million times, for what it has done. And the governor too, you see, look at him. You are saying that he should be held responsible the other time.
Yes.
But obviously, it was not having peaceful night. He said it was almost on a daily basis with the national security advisor and with the president. And he was asking for state police. State police, so that they have power at our own level to deal with the situation. That is how it should be. The Civil Defense Corps should be railroaded into the north. You get me? And use from the time to set up. It was meant to be having surveillance up to date, equipped with surveillance equipment. And I'm sure it will still have more now. But it has been redundant for a long time. But now it's not. Now is the time for them, the school safety course that they have raised, let them deploy them to the north first. Let them spare the south. All the resources they have, let them make sure those schools in the north are secured and students can go to school in a peaceful atmosphere. That's how it is for now.
All right, we're still happy, but permit me to still, for the sake of clarity, of course, you've rightly said that the military should be commended and should be applauded for the effort to
You don't think
recover.
So?
No, I know, of course. We always celebrate the military here.
Beautiful.
Always do, for their valiant efforts.
Thank God for that.
Yes, but my own question is still harping on the discrepancy. The reason why I say so is because, like we know, when we look back at some of this dark episode or dark spots in Nigeria's history, we still know that people from the Chibok episode are still or have been forgotten. People still clamor for that. Yes, people still know that some have been left behind from the Dapchi. And we do not want a case whereby, because probably we want to celebrate way too soon. Permit me to land. Permit me to get somewhere.
Okay.
We do not want a case whereby, because we want to celebrate quick victories, we decide to probably tamper with the numbers. Because if the question a lot of people are asking, and what should bother the average mind is, if the numbers that were initially put out there were false, the first thing that should have been done was to correct those numbers so that we know how many are to be accounted for. But when the disparity between 287 and 137 now begins to play up, people begin to question the valiant effort that has been put in to recover or to rescue some of these victims, as the case may be.
Have you landed?
Yes, I have.
Now, I will give you an analogy. Not here. You know what's going on in Gaza? You know what's going on in Gaza?
It's public knowledge.
That's right. No, I'm asking whether you know what's
So
going on.
it's all public knowledge.
All right. Israel.
Yes.
Because the Palestinians killed, abducted some people, killed about 1,000 Israelis. They have killed over 40,000 Palestinians now. Get me? You see your problem with figures? Mm-hmm. Is that not an overkill? No, is that not an overkill?
Depending on who is actually asking, because the Israelis don't feel it's an overkill.
Human life, you will not say 1,000 lives should be retaliated with the killing of 40,000. That is the problem with statistics. You get me? And the concept you have in mind is the military strategy of going to war, and if your colleague is wounded, you make sure you bring everybody back. But if you cannot bring everybody back, you'll be lucky to be alive.
But it must be stated. It should be stated that some have been left behind.
Who said this? The governor said this number, and the governor is satisfied with the number.
It's not what the governor...
Look, if you want to query the statistics,
yes,
query the army. But commend them for what they have done.
The army did not put out an official statement of the number.
I'll go and ask them for it. But we are talking of human lives.
Yes.
And lives have been saved. They said only one teacher was killed because he was in bad health before. May his soul rest in peace. I value human lives. Please, some people, because of the poor Chibok girls, those girls are still in bondage if they are alive. And you can imagine what shape or form they will be, being women. But please, when we see something commendable, let us commend it. Don't let negativity...
But that should never stop us from asking questions.
Please, your question is unanswerable. Do you get me? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sobowale.
It's a pleasure.
And definitely kudos to those who have contributed to the recovery of these children. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you as always.